Peace and love, guys. On my way home, and you know how I do. I just start blabbering because I don't have anyone to talk to. So when I try to blabber to people I know, they look at me like I'm crazy. Perfect example. So I just met this person and we've been kicking it, and I've been trying to explain sometimes why I can't really go anywhere like that, because I just be up and down with how I feel, and sometimes I'm super duper tired, and I'm trying to explain my spiritual awakening and the stuff that I see. And then I was super psyched over the weekend because I was watching, I don't know if you see some of my other videos, and I talk about Beyonce and the fact that I believe that she is going through ascension and that her third eye is wide open. I do know that she's spiritual. I have listened to her album Lemonade, and she makes a lot of references about alchemy and all of this stuff. And I recently made a video myself, and I was talking about how I see beings with stripes on their bodies. I was they look like bees or whatever. Anyway, I was making this comment because I was watching, I was talking to the girl, and I was making the comment because I was watching Beyonce with her Coachella, I think it is, and she came out and she was dressed like Nefertiti. I think she was trying to look like, and then all around her you just seen a bunch of people with stripes. And initially I really didn't know what it was. I was just oh wow. And I was man, that's kind of, I wonder if she see them too. She see the beings with stripes all over their bodies. So anyway, I was super psyched. So I told the girl, I didn't say anything about the bees, but I definitely said, I think she see, because I see these beings with stripes all over their bodies. They look like they got stripes on their bodies. And I was super excited. She was looking at me like I'm nuts. And she was maybe because she's Beyonce and, bees, beehive. I felt so stupid when she said it. I was just oh yeah. But today, I'm so loud. Why am I yelling? I was super excited about it. Can you tell? So today, I go and I just look at the video, and it's a close-up of the outfits, and the outfits aren't depicting these dancers as being bees, because clearly they have the stripes on their bodies like a bee does have. They were depicting the Egyptians, and it had an Egyptian pharaohs on the front of it. So I was my theory still stands, possibly that Beyonce is going to. Anyway, yeah, this is what this video is for, just to hear me blabber. But y'all know how I really relate to Egyptians, and I look at their artwork and I feel they depict what it is being a spiritual awaked being, to walk amongst spirit. All these weird images that you see with humans with bird faces and feline faces. I believe they were just saying that's how God, the beings, they didn't call them God, they call them ancestors. That's how they looked. They looked like animals, and that's what I see. I see beings that look like animals. Some of them look human-like, but some of them, like I said, also look like animals. But anyway, also with that, and this came to me today, and I wanted to share this because I come up with some interesting concepts, and I can't make this stuff up because it's just the way I can't make this up. But I'm gonna throw something out here that's gonna sound super left, like I usually do. I kind of don't even really want to touch it, but I just been the way I was guided to it, and how the light came on, and I figured it. Well, I don't even know. This is just what I think. All this is all my opinion, by the way, guys. Of course. Ma'at, who is the Egyptian depict as a woman goddess, who stood for order and justice. Because first of all, Egyptians associated the gods also with, like the neter, or same thing as what the English word nature derived from. The neter, which is just, gods that represent, the cosmos, or water, earth, wind, fire, the elements, basically. And Maat represented justice and order. And something very interesting about Ma'at, and the way she's depicted throughout Egyptian art, is she herself is typically, or for a lot of the times, depicted on tombs and whatnot with a wing, her arms stretched out, and she has wings that when you look at them, they clearly look like feathers, because that's what wings are made of. And then she has this very interesting object on her head, which people also call a feather. Typically, they say it's an ostrich feather. But I was spiritually guided that this was something else, okay? Stay with me now. First of all, let's talk about the word feather, okay? I don't know, and this is just based on how I was guided. You think about the word feather, you say feather, okay, so you think about a feather, feather is pretty, you know what a feather looks like. And then you think about another word. It's spelled F-E-T-T-E-R. Fetter. It's very similar to feather, but it's fetter. What is a fetter? A fetter is something that chains and binds you. So let's think about that concept also, and think about Mat, right? Who stands for justice and order. Now, put that feather, bind, and put justice and order, Mat, together, and this is what I came up with. During this recent healing that I've been going through at my spine, recently I had a very, very interesting sensation of, first of all, it's a lot of action that occurred at the spine. But first of all, I try to explain it, it's so difficult. But first of all, it's like you're in layers, okay? You're just layered with this crap, okay? And I initially said, I always said that this stuff binds you. Literally, it keeps you from, in turn, over time and lifetimes, you yourself is just an illuminated being, right? And then as time goes on, your karma, over time, starts to accumulate on you. And I believe you become bound by fetters, by the concept of Ma'at, right? Why do I say this? Because the sensation that I had was something was stuck on my spine, okay? Something was stuck on my spine, right? And it was just kind of stuck. So Spirit was back there just going at it. Once they got it loose, they then proceeded to almost as if whatever it was along the spine, it had tentacles of some sort, right? And it's the feeling of it's just wrapped, almost as if what do you call it, like a wasp, like in a cocoon almost. But what happened was they loosened this in a way where it became loose, right? And it just kind of drooped once it became loose. And they took that and they slid it out. Of course, I do everything out the top of my head. So you have this somewhat of a cylinder something that was initially stuck to the spine. And then you also have these strings kind of that were, I'm trying, y'all, that was kind of wrapped around you, right? Now, of course, I just get this image in my head of something that's, first of all, it came from so it comes all the way from like the bottom of your butt bone, right, where it's rather curved, and then it's kind of, it's like up your spine, like literally, right, I would say just kind of right before it gets all the way to your neck, but just kind of like it stops about right there. I don't know if you can see. Okay, so they detach it and then they pull it out, and I could almost get an image in my head of how that thing looked, right, when it was coming up out of the crown. I could almost get an idea of how it looked, but I got such an interesting idea today because I was just doing this learning and just researching things like I always do. I was at the gym, and I came across a picture of the goddess of justice. And you know what that feather looked like? The image that I had in my head of that thing, that once it was detached and it came out of the head, how that possibly looked. If you go back, don't look at the more recent images, more modern day type images that that we've drawn of Ma'at. Go back and look at the images that are on the tombs of pharaohs. It's just on ancient stuff, on ancient artifacts. If you look at that feather, it really doesn't look much like a feather. Actually, it looks like some type of cylinder-like type of thing with strings attached from it, right? Like, it doesn't look feathered at all. It looks like some cylinder thing with strings attached. Go back and look at that, Google that, and look at one of the ones that are on an actual tomb. It does not look like a feather. I mean, you could call it that, like the Indians or whatever. No. Think about it now. Just like the Neter, right? They represent forces of nature. If you think about Ma'at, right? Justice and order. I think I said not too long ago in another video, I said I think we were very powerful when we just got beside ourselves. So we became bound. We became checked. We were checked. And I believe that's what we're checked with. Real talk. Because the way that thing is bound up against your spine and wraps around your body, your etheric body, you are like in jail, bruh. We're in jail. Well, I'm getting out of jail, but you're in jail. You're like literally, justice have been served. Whatever karma that you don't racked up, like you gonna stay there until you clean, until you clean, when you rise again and you change your life. I don't know. I'm not a saint. I don't know. I'm just trying to put some type of rationality towards it, and that's what I was spiritually guided to just like out of nowhere. I had that thought, like out of nowhere, that coming up off the spine, being kind of stringy, and the way that image just hangs on her head, and her being the deity that represents justice and order, right? That's all the way left. That's all the way left. That's all the way left. And you know what? It is a couple layers of that. It's not just like on your spine once. It's like like you're an onion. And they probably pulled it out like about 3 times now. So I've had it in my head of like the possibility of how that thing looks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I just wanted to share that.